We can call that feminism all we want to feel better about it, but it is undeniable in the society we live in the West today, that women are suffering at the hands of accommodating for men who call themselves women. And I just can't in good conscience call that actual feminism. I can't.
So you say it's undeniable, but I will deny that. And I think it's important to recognize that to the privileged, equality seems like oppression.
Hey guys, what's going on? Matt Miller here with PolitiBrawl News, and watch Isabel Brown put this woke feminist in her place when she claims you have to make accommodations for biological men in women's spaces in order to be a true feminist. Check it out right here.
We're watching this happen in real time, not just from the legal perspective, but the societal one as well, with men winning Women of the Year competitions and awards, with men winning Miss Universe pageant opportunities, men taking NCAA championship opportunities away from women in multiple sports at this point. Heck, men are often called the best women in society today because they are the most celebrated in our postmodern society. And you see that with influencers like Dylan Mulvaney being celebrated on TikTok, etc. In no way, shape, or form is that feminism. That is the strategic erasure and second-tier status of cisgender biological women to accommodate for individuals who claim that they are women. Now, we can call that inclusivity all we want to feel better about it. We can call that feminism all we want to feel better about it. But it is undeniable in the society we live in the West today, that women are suffering at the hands of accommodating for men who call themselves women. And I just can't in good conscience call that actual feminism. I can't.
So you say it's undeniable, but I will deny that. And I think it's important to recognize that to the privileged, equality seems like oppression. Because when I see transgender people being included, I don't feel that I am being excluded. I don't feel that my identity is being questioned or belittled. That's not how I feel. And I think it just speaks very strongly to our perspectives. I see it as a positive thing for people who have continuously been demonized and stigmatized to be protected and recognized for their existence and their right to exist. And when you say things like, oh, they're allowing men in women's restrooms, they're allowing men to bunk with women on camp trips, whatever, it's inherently that language is demonizing to the trans community because you are making it seem as if these are men who have nefarious intentions and want to invade women's spaces, when in reality, the transgender community, they are at higher risk of violence. They are at higher risk of hate crimes than almost anyone in our society. And so framing it as if it is men trying to, be predatory towards women and invade our spaces is demonizing that group, which actually statistically is more likely to be harmed than to be the aggressor.
Let's put it in simpler language then, to use the language that is more inclusive to all of this. Let's not say men, let's say people with penises. It is a positive to be more inclusive in society when a person with a penis joins the Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority at the University of Wyoming, and there have been numerous complaints to the sorority organization, the university, the Department of Justice, etc., that there is an individual with a penis flashing women in their own sorority house, masturbating on the couch in a women's sorority house because this person with a penis now identifies as a woman.
So what Isabel Brown just did was very smart. She put it in plain biological terms that you can't really hide behind the reality of what's going on. Part of the reason that the left has so much jargon and all of these weird terms is because they're trying to mask what they're actually saying in their argument. This lady's trying to say that it is somehow progress, it's good, it's evolution, it's the direction we need to be going in, to have men, biological men with penises in sorority houses, in female locker rooms, playing women's sports, that somehow this is a societal positive, and if you don't see it that way, then you're just a backwards bigot, that you're the one that has an issue, that you're being discriminatory or intolerant. And I think that they're losing the forest through the trees here, because what feminism is supposed to be about is advancing women's rights. And the left is so far out there now that they've forgotten what women actually are. Women are people who are biologically female. If you're advancing the rights of people who are not biologically female over those who are biologically female, you are no longer fighting for women's rights. It's a very clear kindergarten level definition that you're just overseeing in an attempt to usher in a much more radical and nefarious gender ideology that comes from deep within intersectional left-wing feminism and critical theory. And it really goes far beyond the much more marketable surface level feminism that's pretty default in our society. But let's continue. Let's see what she has to say to this.
It's a positive thing when a person with a penis is walking around naked in a women's locker room, what we would strategically call sexual harassment to protect women in American history. But now, to accommodate for inclusivity, is just allowing these people to exist. That's a good thing for women's rights and feminism in America today. These are real examples that have happened in the last year. Ask my friend Riley Gaines what the locker room experience was like with Will Thomas, now identifying as Leah Thomas, in NCAA championship swimming. Ask the girls in Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority at the University of Wyoming. These are very real realities that are, in fact, directly harming women, subjecting them to sexual harassment and assault, which we would never be okay with in any sense of historical feminism, but now we're supposed to accept as normal or even celebrate because we're being inclusive?
Yeah, and those are very specific examples that you use to demonize a community.
Oh, there are many more.
Yeah, she gave specific examples because that's how you're supposed to construct an argument. You use specific examples to support your broader point that you're trying to make. That's not a slight against what she said. That actually bolsters her position. See, I think that this pervasive radical left-wing ideology preys on people who are hyper empathetic, like this other woman seems to be. You know, a lot of young people, and especially young women, are extremely empathetic, and that's why the tolerant at all cost sort of thinking, I think, resonates with them the most. And they also see it as a moral hill for them to die on. She clearly does. Social justice warriors have been doing this now for a very long time, for decades at least. And fighting for these cultural issues, these extreme cultural positions. Men can identify as women and then enter into women's spaces as if they are women, is a radical thing to say, to try to normalize. But they pretend that this is totally normal, this is totally understandable, and we should all be on board with it already. And if we're not, there's something wrong with us, as a way for them to take a moral high ground, feel good about themselves, and feel like they're helping a less fortunate or marginalized group of people. Very frequently with the left, I would say that their intentions are good. They're trying to be tolerant, they're trying to be helpful, but they refuse to see the next step or the next layer down, which is the ramifications of what it is the proposition that they're trying to normalize in society. What are the ramifications of letting in biological men compete in women's sports? Well, it just might be the destruction of all fair athletic competition for women. And if you fail to see that or you ignore that, then you're actually a net negative against a marginalized group. You're no longer helping. You're helping a tiny minority to attack or offend a much bigger group of people, women. We know that this stuff comes from the philosophy of the extreme left, which is after the deconstruction of all of our institutions in the West. They're trying to destabilize Western civilization by destabilizing our concepts that our society is built on. Concepts like gender, concepts like the nuclear family, concepts like our religion. And that's why it seems that all these dots connect and everything is pointed at traditions and the bedrock of our civilization. You know, that is kind of the common through line between all of these radical left positions, is that they all threaten what we hold to be most sacred, that our entire civilization is built on. And in this case, gender is just one of those examples. Gender is very important to the way that Western civilization has taken shape over the last 2,000-3,000 years. Because we have gender roles that, while flexible and very broad, are important for how we build our family units. They're trying to destabilize our civilization so that they can build a new civilization. They want communism, right? Obviously, they hate capitalist and free market economics. So they want to build a new society that is more hospitable towards their equal distribution of wealth way of thinking, the centralization of the economy. And you can't really build a economy like that when you have strong family units that teach people hard work and that teach people respect of God and their mothers and their fathers, you can't really build this blind allegiance towards the government that you need with more left-wing societies. So good job to Isabel Brown for pointing this out and kind of deconstructing this very flimsy argument that we hear on the left, going after women's spaces, women's sports competitions with reckless abandon in the name of defending the rights of this extreme minority of people who nobody wants to discriminate against, by the way. Everybody is for respecting trans people as people, but we cannot give them all of their demands at the expense of the rights of women. That should just be a line in the sand that we have, and I wish that more people on the far left here could understand that that's our position. On the right, as conservatives, we're actually the real feminists now, funny enough. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this clip in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you guys get notified when we post new content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.